All right, let's talk about memory. But I have a question for you. What if I told you that your brain isn't the only part of you that remembers? I mean, what if we're looking at a radical idea here, that your entire body has a memory of its very own? So let's just start with the basics. When you think of memory, remembering someone's name, a random fact, which you had for breakfast, where does all that information live? I mean, the immediate answer for pretty much everyone is the brain, right? Yeah. For decades, that's what science has told us. Memories are all about neurons firing, creating this massive library right inside our skulls. And look, that's the story we all know and accept. Okay, but what if that's just not the whole picture? What if that's only part of the story? I mean, what if your body, and I'm talking about your organs, your skin, your individual cells, what if they could also learn, adapt, and actually recall stuff from past experiences? It sounds wild, I know, but let's dive in. And to start exploring this, we actually don't have to look that far. We can kick things off with a super powerful memory system that you already have running throughout your entire body, and it has absolutely nothing to do with conscious thought. I'm talking about your immune system. Right, so this is what scientists call immunological memory. It's this incredible ability of your adaptive immune system to recognize a pathogen, a virus, a bacteria that it's seen before. These cells don't just fight an infection and forget about it. Oh no. They literally take notes, they create a most wanted poster, preparing for the next time that same bad guy shows up. And this comparison just illustrates it perfectly. The very first time you get sick with something new, that primary response is, well, it's kind of slow and clunky. Your body is trying to figure out what's going on, it's creating a blueprint of the enemy, but the second time that same bug tries to invade, whoa, the secondary response is lightning fast, it's powerful, it's incredibly effective. The system uses that blueprint to just wipe the floor with the invader super quickly. And this, right here, this is the fundamental principle behind vaccines. It's so brilliant. They basically introduce a harmless lookalike of a pathogen to your body. This lets your immune system go through that slow initial learning phase and build up that library of memory cells, all without you ever having to get seriously sick. It's literally body memory in action. Okay, so specialized immune cells can remember things. That's amazing in its own right, but honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What if I told you that your kidney cells could learn? Yeah, you heard that right. This is where our whole understanding of memory gets completely flipped on its head. And this isn't just me saying it. Here's a quote from the lead researcher on this, Nikolai Kukushkin. He says, "Our study shows that other cells in the body can learn and form memories too. So the old idea that learning is exclusively for brain cells, it's being seriously challenged." So how on earth did they prove this? Well, they did something genius. They borrowed a classic learning principle straight from neuroscience, the whole cramming for an exam versus studying over time thing. When they hit human kidney cells with chemical signals in one long, intense cram session, the cells barely responded, but, and this is the kicker, when they spaced out those exact same signals with breaks in between, the cells had a much stronger and more lasting response. It's wild. It turns out your kidney cells, just like your brain, learn way better with spaced repetition. And listen, this isn't just some weird fluke happening in kidney cells. It's actually part of a much bigger idea called trained immunity. This is basically a form of memory found in our more ancient, simpler, innate immune system. The fact that even these non-specialized cells can be trained like this, it suggests that memory isn't some elite skill reserved for the brain. It might just be a fundamental property of life itself. Okay, so let's pause. If a kidney cell or an immune cell can remember, how is it actually doing that? It doesn't have neurons. It doesn't have synapses. So what's the mechanism? Well, the secret lies in a kind of secret code. A code that's written not in our DNA, but on top of it. This amazing mechanism is called epigenetic regulation. Now here's the best way to think about it. Imagine your DNA is a massive, incredibly detailed instruction manual. Epigenetics doesn't rewrite any of the words in that book. Instead, it's like adding bookmarks, sticky notes, and highlighting certain passages. These little marks tell the cell which pages to read right now and which ones to skip, effectively switching genes on or off based on what the cell has experienced. You can almost picture it like a physical switchboard for your genes. As you can see here, some of these epigenetic marks act like a big green light. They cause the DNA to unwind and open up, making a gene really easy to access and turn on. But other marks, they act like a red light. They pack the DNA up super tightly, blocking access completely. This is how a cell physically stores a memory of a past event, by setting these switches. So let's walk through the whole process of how a cell builds a memory.
First, some kind of stimulus arrives, a chemical signal, whatever. In response, the cell goes in and places these epigenetic bookmarks on key genes related to that stimulus. This doesn't necessarily turn the gene on, but it leaves it in a poised state. It's primed and ready to go at a moment's notice. So the next time that same stimulus shows up, bam, the cell can launch a way faster, way stronger response. It has remembered.
Now, this is so much more than just a cool biological party trick. Understanding that our bodies are basically this distributed network of cellular memories, well, it has absolutely profound implications for how we think about pretty much everything related to health and disease. And this quote from Kukushkin again really just nails the paradigm shift here. In the future, we will need to treat our body more like the brain. Just think about that. If our cells are constantly learning from our experiences, it means our lifestyle, our environment, what we eat, all of it is literally being written into our cellular programming. We need to start thinking about training our body's health, not just our minds. And the potential here, it's just enormous. Think about it. Could we treat chronic diseases like diabetes by understanding and maybe even resetting the metabolic memory in our cells? Could we improve cancer therapy by tackling how tumor cells remember and resist treatments? Could we design totally new kinds of vaccines that harness this trained immunity? We're talking about opening up completely new avenues for medicine.
So, let's end with this thought. If your body is constantly learning, if every single one of your cells is a potential archive, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What experiences, what signals, what stories are already written into the very fabric of you? And maybe, just maybe, what can you do to start writing a new one?